checking the poll results for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Will there be at least one trade on today's CFL trade deadline day? 74% of you say yes on Twitter. 26% of you say no, there won't be a trade at all. You see the poll results up there from our Facebook page. 89% say yes, there'll be at least one deal. Oh, by the way, another Prairie Mobile text. Don't the Riders play this weekend? All I hear is Bombers, Bombers, Bombers. Dude, this isn't a Riders show. We've got days leading up to the Riders at the Stampeders on Friday night. So, look, I'll do the talking. You do the watching. That's how this is going to work. And I used to put up with that in my old show. I don't have to put up with it anymore. And what are we going to talk about? They're 10-4, first place. They're really rolling. And
now they're on their way.
And now they're on their way.
I thought you did that on purpose.
No, I actually didn't. I actually didn't. But I will say this. And the other thing is that Winnipeg is, I've said it many times, our third highest viewed city for viewership. I don't know why that is. But we're melting the ice real fast, RV.
Very Winnipegish.
It's very Winnipegish. For whatever reason, they're taking a shining to this show. And they are front and center at the trade deadline. So I will talk about the Riders before the top of the hour. And Hall of Famer Jim Hobson will be in for hour 2, along with Dupes, who's on the sponsors couch right now. And I hope there's at least one trade by then to break down. But the Bombers are the team that everybody's looking at this trade deadline today. And Doug Brown, man, showing some huge cojones in the Free Press yesterday to come out
didn't read this.
And say if they don't acquire a veteran quarterback, they're raising the white flag on this season. That from Doug Brown. And I thought, wow, for him to do that. And the guy's got balls. He's always had balls. He's why he's writing, and it's why he's on the air. He's got takes, right? And he can back it up.
He's great.
RV, do you agree with that assessment that the Bombers are waving the white flag if they don't acquire a veteran
I think you've
quarterback?
at least got to try. Whether it's going to succeed is another question. Even if you make the trade, is anybody who's out there capable of rescuing the season? That's debatable. If you get McLeod Bethel-Thompson, he's leading the league in 19 touchdown passes, but the Argos, he don't even have, it seems, abundant faith in him. But I think you've got to try. If you just go, let the trade deadline come and go, and don't even make an attempt at upgrading the most crucial position, I think that's tantamount to surrender.
I think it's just a message to your locker room more than anything. Ed Hervey's always been a guy that's made a lot of deals at the trade deadline or late season acquisitions, and it fires up your locker room. And it just seems to me over in Winnipeg, what have they lost now? 3 in a row? They got to do something.
But then Streffler's done there, though.
Which is fine. He's a free agent at the end of the year. What's he done?
No, I'm just saying. But at that point, that does signal the end of that guy in that organization. There is zero question.
He's had his chance. He's got the keys to the Ferrari, and he's run it into the wall. He has.
Yeah.
Whereas in Hamilton, great chat yesterday with Chris Getzlaff, who sat on that chair. They lose their starting quarterback, and they might have gotten better.
Riders.
Under Dane Evans.
Riders.
Same thing. So the point is, what do they owe Chris Strevler? They've given him every opportunity.
But I look at that, and that is the exact same, on the other side of the ledger, the exact same situation, 180 degrees to what goes on here in Saskatchewan. If you don't owe him anything and you're ready to cut bait with it, why haven't the Riders re-signed Cody Fajardo then? Because he's been the exact opposite.
I think they've tried, though. That's the difference.
You gotta.
Yeah.
And why haven't the Riders also taken out whatever plays they're running for the first 3 quarters of every game and just thrown them out and just stuck with whatever they're running in the 4th quarter of every single game? That's my other question to Steve McAdoo. What are you doing? Rip those out.
They're so resourceful, though, and that's what's impressed me with Cody Fajardo as much as anything. It's not necessarily some days the amount of big plays he's making, but when he's making them. When you get the interception by L.J. McRae and you're on your 7-yard line, and you go 103 yards for a touchdown. You're against the Bombers and you're deep in your own end, needing to march all the way down the field to get a winning field goal, and the offense hadn't done very much that game, and they do it. It's not so much what he does as when he does it that really impresses me. And when you look at how early he is in his tenure as a starting quarterback in the league, that's what's really amazing.
Do you think Winnipeg just chalks it up to then as Strevler's just run into a couple of in their mind, a couple of hot defenses. I mean, the Riders' defense is very good, and I was the one who was questioning at the start of the year, saying, Jason Shivers, what will they be? I think he's proved his worth more over than not. So do you think in Winnipeg, the Walters and O'Shea and these guys are saying, yeah, just a couple bad games or a couple of good defense. We still, do you think in the upper echelon of that place that they believe that Strevler can be the guy, to get them through this year and give them a chance better than anybody else in the league?
I don't think they have a choice but to believe that when you consider the options that are out there. I think one of the stories that's been a little underplayed when you look at the Bombers' descent has been Andrew Harris has been back in the lineup. And you thought, okay, with Andrew Harris back, that will restore some of the offense that not necessarily had been missing because they moved the ball really well in the Banjo Bowl.
Yeah,
Chris Strevler moved the Bombers into position for a go-ahead convert after his touchdown in the Labor Day Classic. So even during those 2 games when Andrew Harris was absent, the offense was okay.
Yes.
But then he comes back and you think, okay, the catalyst is back. And that's what's really puzzling. Chris Strevler is probably just settled in terms of this is what he should be.
And I think,
but where's this Bomber offense with Andrew Harris?
And defenses have gotten enough film. They go, okay, we're not rushing up the middle anymore. We're just keeping him in the pocket. Let him stand back there because he will stand back there forever.
Couple shout outs this morning as we have our morning coffee. Thanks for joining us today. Caliber Coffee providing the coffee as always today. Wayne from Victoria, BC chiming in. Good morning, Wayne. Sean in Saskatoon says, morning, Rod. I missed the past couple of shows, but glad to be back. Good to see I didn't miss all the football talk. Deadline day. So, yes, this is our CFL trade deadline special, and all we need now are trades. By the way, a news release coming up from the CFL this morning. The CFL is introducing a new award to recognize highly valued yet too often unsung employees at the club and league level. Commissioner Randy Ambrosi said in a news release, the annual Jane Mobby Award will celebrate professionals who work quietly but tirelessly behind the scenes on behalf of the CFL and its member clubs. So it will be handed out for the first time at the Shaw CFL Awards at Scotiabank Saddledome in Calgary on Thursday, November the 21st. Now, I love it. Why not? Unsung Hero Awards. My nomination would be for the great Hugh McKay. Probably should be the first winner.
In memory of Hugh, I think
to be
that would
honest.
be perfect.
But the other, though, and that's fine. That's great initiative by the CFL. Brought this up yesterday. We need to do awards like the National Football League for top general manager and top coordinator. And one thing I always want to do with this show and with my website is to make you think, the viewer, the listener, or the reader. And if you were to hand out the award for the top coordinator, which the NFL does, and it's a highly sought after award.
Didn't realize
most awards are. Who would it be?
Oof.
It makes you think. I like Brent Munson and what he's doing over in Calgary, the defensive coordinator there.
Yeah. Shivers is on that list.
Jason Shivers would be on the list for the Riders. Tommy Condell and Hamilton for what he's done with the quarterback change. And Paul LaPolice, depending on how this all plays out for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Won a couple games early with Chris Strevler, but as we've pointed out, they're on a 3-game losing streak with Chris Strevler. So, RV, again, I see the wheels turning in your head. Well, aren't these would be fun awards?
These would be fun.
This is a great debatable question. Absolutely.
They've got Executive of the Year in junior hockey. Why doesn't the Professional Football League
Which
have
is basically GM of the Year.
And, I never thought I would say this a year ago, but if the Riders have a strong finish and you look what has been done with a quarterback who'd been a career backup until June 13th, what about Stephen McAdoo? Mm-hmm. If you're talking about coordinators in this league who've done a tremendous job, and a year ago people were lining up to malign the Stephen McAdoo offense, I think Stephen McAdoo's got to be in the conversation as one of the top coordinators in the Canadian Football League this year. I
would say he could be in the conversation, but I would definitely. I don't even think he is on his own team. I think Shivers, and I just look back to like last game. I mean, for 3 quarters, that was all defense. I mean, the offense sputtered and sputtered. I think, did we get to 20 punts between the two teams? Because it was getting awfully close. And the offense, it sputtered. It came alive at the right time. For whatever reason, literally, the sprinkle of Jesus seems to just happen at the right time for these guys. Like, I don't want to use that all the time, but when you see Fajardo going down the field, like it's a giggle a little bit. But for what Shivers has done, considering... yes, they did get Micah Johnson, but considering you lose Willie Jefferson, You are dealing with some guys who are, going into their second year. Sometimes you see a drop off in some of these guys, and that defense. How many games have you looked back and gone, gosh, they got gouged? I mean, the Banjo Bowl, sure, wasn't great. Everybody has a one-off, but for the most part, you could be pretty reliable. I mean, LJ McCray. I mean, where has this guy come from?
Goodness.
I mean, the plays he's making and the hits. He hits like a linebacker, for crying out loud. Like, he's got the fear of God in some of those receivers when they're running some of these routes, trying to come over the middle, or these little hit screens that he's reading. Full marks to McAdoo and what he's done, especially with a fresh quarterback. But Jason Shivers has been my most impressive guy as a coordinator, filling in for Chris Jones. Tons of questions. Can he do it? I think he has absolutely done it.
I might add, the coordinator award, the top coordinator award, needs to be voted on by the other coaches, not the media, because they don't know anything. RV didn't like that one.
I did my part.
I'm saying it's got to be voted on by the coaches, and I'd like to see the GM of the Year award voted on by the other GMs. And maybe this is awards we'll do here, and we'll hand them out Grey Cup week. And
I like it.
So anyways, Rob, one more before we let you go. One more plug for 100 Things for Rough Rider fans. Your new book, available in November.
In November. I've never been in a situation like this where I'm saying, here it is. It's out in November, even though I'm actually holding a tangible copy. But this is my fun little book, 100 done in conjunction with Triumph Books. 100 Things Rough Riders fans should know and do before they die. And just all sorts of cool little things going back to the franchise's inception as the Regina Rugby Club in 1910 and right through till August. I wish, in hindsight, there'd been time to get a Cody Fajardo chapter in here, but hopefully there's a reprint coming.
There's a next book.
That's the next book. That'll be book number 4 if I'm so fortunate. So.
All right. Thank you, RV. And
Thank you so much, Rob.
is that our review copy right there?
Absolutely.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, RV. Appreciate it. Now,
my pleasure.
we're really pushing this thing. We'll leave it on the desk here.
Now we're really
More
rolling.
gifts. Yeah, now we're really rolling. Okay, thanks for coming in, guys.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.